Good morning. I'm Mark, the Clueless Luthier, and today we're going to start closing up the body of the guitar. First, there's an issue I have to take care of, and I have to put these braces and glue them along certain points inside the sides of the guitar. But I've been trying to figure out how to do that with a form on because I don't want to remove it. I think I figured that out. So let me readjust the camera angle and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I've started making the supports. Let me show you real quick what I've been doing. I won't belabor it, but I find the easiest way to find the dimension is actually with my caliper, because I can get right in there and then just, I don't know if you can see over here or not, transfer it. And just use a chisel. Chop it off. We're shooting underneath. Double check the length. Nice, okay. Then what I'm doing is I'm putting 45 on each end to kind of taper it in, and a bit of a 45 to just kind of round off the front edges, just to make it look a little cleaner. And there's 7 aside. So before we're going any further, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of these. All right, this monstrosity in front of you is my initial plan. I do not have enough clamps, I don't believe, to finish it. And I may get to a certain point and decide this is untenable. But what I'm going to do, the part I really wanted to describe the most, I can't even probably see it. I have a brace that has to go here, right tight with the block on this. I have another one that's at the moment underneath it. And this is the part I'm kind of worried about. I really wanted to avoid removing this. I can't. But what I can do is I shove this up enough, I'm going to get these braces in and the clamps on to keep everything in place. Then I'm going to relax this, get it out of the way, so I can do these two, get that clamped, and everything should stay in place. And then I'll do the rest of them. So, hey, it sounds great on paper. Let's see how this goes. I also found, like, most of this are like spare wood shims that I cut up for cauls to hold these, because I can only get one clamp really on, so I wanted to spread the pressure across the entire brace. So on that, I have to remove these, get them out of the way so they cross each other. And this. See how this works. that is all I can do so far. I have 4 more to do. I can't do these because there's just too much in the way. And I'm out of good clamps. So I'm gonna let this set up for a while, and then we'll do the last 4. All right, I've taken off the clamps other than these. And so now what I'm gonna do is relieve this one and relieve this one. Get this back in place. Oops. Get that out of the way. Get out of the way. Looks pretty good. Okay. So now these back. Yeah, I think that worked pretty well. Tight. Yeah. Make sure this doesn't. Okay, good. Not bad. All right, then I'll go ahead and do the final 4 supports. Okay, I ended up having to get kind of creative here to get this to stay at such an angle. And this one, I found what I did is I put this brace across it to hold them in place, because otherwise I really couldn't get that to work well. So let's see. I also noticed, and you can't see it, one of the first ones I did slid off on an angle. Unfortunately, it's not going to affect anything, but it doesn't look quite as professional that way. All right, so now it's time to put the top on, and I have got to. I can't use my spindle clamps like I did before that go around the perimeter, because there's no perimeter here. So I'm going to use the Gotek, and I'm going to have to adjust the height, I believe. Yeah, definitely. Either that or raise. No, I have to adjust the height. And before I can do this, I'm a little ahead of myself here. I forgot I have to notch out for the braces. But the first thing I noticed, when I was comparing this to the plastic form I had from the directions, I had mentioned how tight it is here, and I was not kidding. It's a good thing there's binding, because from here to here, there is no extra. I mean, it would barely work. Yeah, barely. Same in this direction, very tight. Anyway, I digress. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I have to mark where these braces come through. A little bit in. Okay. Now, line this out. This may not be long enough. Let's see. Yeah, it is. It's like here. I'm going to line these up because I can get the angle. And I didn't mark it, did I? Oh no, yeah, I did. Right. Maybe it's not long enough. Barely. Okay. Just barely. I'm gonna try this little pull saw to get the edges at least. I know last time I tried a file as suggested and it didn't work. And I just tried it again just to make sure and it didn't work. So I don't have to take off much. I think a little better. Let's see how this fits. Nice and flush. Nice and flush. Okay, it's got some movement. Good. Good. And I'm gonna check that. There it is. It snapped in place. Just make sure nothing else moved. Looks good. All right. Wow, first time. Okay, now I have got to go ahead and set up my Go deck. Hello. It takes a minute to reset this Go deck this low. Okay, so I have done a dry run. I'm all set. And so I'm going to take this off momentarily and get some glue going. Kind of a low bridge here. I'm going to let this set up overnight and then we can work on the back. All right. Get this off. See how this turned out. Well, it's okay. It's close. It looks good. It's nice and solid. These spots I was worried about seem okay. This one's a little over a bit, but that's fine. Okay. Next thing I have to do is cut the slots for the back braces. So let me get that set up and we'll get started. All right. Now these stay in, and I did double check. All these parts come apart and will fit out the sound hole. That just keeps everything where it's supposed to be. I also double checked. I trimmed this end just a little bit to make sure that fits between these two. It tucks right in. There's a little bit of curve. I just have to make sure that everything else looks right. And then, there it is. Mark my braces. All right. wanted to point this out. When I sanded this down, I completely missed, well, I completely missed it, but I certainly did not hit this sufficiently. I'm not sure how I did that, but so before I can go any further, I saw this when I was doing a dry fit. And as I was going along the edge, making sure everything was seated correctly, I picked up on that. So first I have to sand this down, and then we'll get on to gluing it on. Well, if I ever need it, another reason to always do a dry run, that was one. At least it was an easy fix. So I've sanded this down. I finished my dry run. I have all my braces laid out to size, and so let's go. Okay, it's all glued up. I'm going to go around and check one more time for glue squeeze out that I can get to. And I'm going to let this set. Alright, let this sit overnight. Let's see, she looks good. Nice and flush. Nice and flush. Alright, I think we're in business. Excellent. All right, take this puppy out. Sweating on my guitar. Okay. Let's get the weight. Solid all the way through. You can see, I don't know if you see how close those edges were to fitting. That was a tight one. Same here. This is actually, I wonder if I'm a little off center. Oh man. Well, there's a little bit of a problem. I got a little off center on the top. That is a drag. I am going to have to figure out how to adapt to that. That slid over. Okay. All right. I still have to take these brackets out, but other than that, the only issue I have is on the tailpiece side. It's just slightly off center, and trying to get this to match up. Actually, I did have room, so I had trouble seeing it very well with that plastic on it. And that's one reason I didn't do it on the back, even though it's easier to see on the back. But yeah, and if you notice I'm glistening a little bit, I just got done mowing the lawn like really early in the morning, and if I hadn't mentioned, it's really hot and muggy in Central Florida in the summer. Wow. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, I still have to take the brackets out, but other than that, the next step is to get this prepped for binding and put the binding on. So, thanks a lot. Bye.